Where are you? We're in a trailer on the side of the road.
England is announcing if you don't have the boosters, you're going to be locked in your house just like Austria and Australia.
And France is too.
But let's not talk about it because they'll ban us on there. You're right. I want hundreds of shots, and I think Trump's wonderful then. Alex Jones is saying, I'm sick of fucking Trump, and I'm sick of all these fucking people.
Why haven't you guys gotten him drunk yet? This is
no. We can't do that. That's bad.
You haven't even thought.
But no, listen. There's a big difference.
Going to crash.
There's a big difference between someone's private medical decisions. The way I see it is, I went to the doctor, you went to the doctor, and they gave us specific medical advice. Joe, let me tell you, when I talked to the doctor, I actually asked them. I said, I don't want ivermectin or Z-Pak. I said, the monoclonal antibodies fixed me up just right good. And the doctor said, no, I want you to finish what you've been prescribed. And I said, do I really have to? And they said, yes, because if it comes back, this is what we're prescribing you. And so I was actually like kind of critical. And the media still lies about it. The point is, if you go to your doctor and you figure out whatever you want, I don't care. That's fine. Do what you want to do. If you know, a lot of people have asked me like, would you get the vaccine now? Well, I got Regeneron, the monoclonal, so I can't, and it provides 8 months of protection or whatever. That's what they're saying. The point is, mandating by government a medical procedure for you to buy lunch is fucking insane.
It is.
We're already swearing on the show.
It's over.
It's over. But we have had so many people on the show who are like. One guy was in his 50s and he says doctor recommended it. He got it. He's absolutely fine. He feels great. If you choose to do it, I don't care what you choose to do. I'm not going to pretend to be a doctor. I'm not going to pretend to know the secrets of the universe. But I will stand up and say, fuck the government if they're going to tell you, hey, you're obligated to get a permanent medical procedure. Otherwise, you can't work, you can't eat food, you can't go to the movies, you can't go to the bar.
Tim, let's fact check this. Fauci and Gates came out last week in videos I've played like 50 times. People can pull this up. And they both said, oh, sorry. It really doesn't work or do anything. We've got a new vaccine coming out. After 6 months, there's basically no immunity from the shot. That's not a vaccine.
That's paraphrasing.
It's a paraphrasing.
Yeah, come on. Like, the challenge with this stuff is...
No. Joe, tell him I'm not... I mean, I could...
Yeah, it wanes. It wanes after time.
Well, we're literally...
The real problem is it's unscientific because they don't recognize the natural immunity from previous infection. Like if you have a real infection with COVID and you recover, you have a more robust natural immunity. It's been shown by that Israeli study, which was 2.5 million people, that had between 6 and 13 times better immunity than you got from the vaccine.
Let me add this.
Let Joe finish. Let Joe finish.
They're in denial about this. So they negate this and they pretend that it's difficult to measure, but it's not difficult at all. We do it at my studio all the time. Yeah. You do a very simple test for antibodies. You can see it very clearly. If it's you do this test, you get a drop of blood, and you see your immunity. You find out that you have antibodies. It's not hard. If that's the case, that's just as good, not just as good. Let's be kind and say it's as good, but
let me add this.
It's far better. It's far better than you get if you got infected.
The FDA
got infected.
Hold on.
He got COVID. He recovered. So he has 6 to 13 times better immunity than someone who gets the vaccine, has like 2 weeks recovery from the vaccine, and now can go out into the world. He's got better coverage.
I'll say two things. The first is that I think politically this is a pit trap. Because a pit trap. A trick. It's you walk and then you stumble through the leaves and you fall into the spikes. Because right now they're saying, we are going to mandate 3 shots in the UK, Austria, France, and then what happens is you end up with Rand Paul, who I like the guy, but he says, why aren't we taking natural immunity into the case? And I said, why are you in any way excusing mandates for medical procedures, whether it be a test or a shot? If we're talking about natural immunity, we're talking about you going to a facility, taking time out of your day to get a medical test done if you want to buy food.
No. He's taking one step. He's taking one step in this examination of this narrative.
In their direction, though.
No.
He's saying
one step in the navigation of this narrative is to look at what you're ignoring.
Yeah, so why aren't you allowed to talk about natural immunity?
You're ignoring natural immunity. Well, I know your whole case is bullshit. So everything you say, whether you're in for mandates, whether you're telling children they have to get it, whatever the fuck you're saying. As soon as you say your natural immunity from previous infection doesn't count, or you try to pretend that it's impossible to check when you can check in seconds. If you vaccinate someone, they're not good for 2 weeks. You can check their immunity in seconds. I have a fucking video of my phone of me doing it.
Let me just say this. The FDA put a letter out last week under a 4-year lawsuit, and they said no one that we've looked at over millions who had natural immunity has ever transmitted the virus, but everyone that takes the vaccine can at the same level.
Yeah, I don't buy that. I
Yeah,
think
and
people
that's-
just haven't reported whether or not they transmitted the virus.
And
It's
those are
not as simple. It's like you have to like somehow or another they have to like quantify that you had the virus and then gave it to somebody
Joe,
else
I'm
after
just
you
going
recovered.
off-
Alex,
I'm
Alex,
just going off
those are
what
two
they
different
say.
things.
I know.
Quite different things.
Yeah.
Someone who gets this is exactly what they say. If you get the vaccine, you're I think it's an order of magnitude less likely to get sick, and it's less severe. If you do get sick, you're equally likely to transfer the virus to someone else.
But
Yeah,
Fauci
but-
just came out and said that's not true anymore. I have the freaking clip.
Right. After a while, you're still going to get sick. I've had 3 friends now be hospitalized that were vaccinated.
Well, so we had
Hospitalized with COVID.
Wait,
We-
Tim,
we-
the
we-
elephant in the
hold
room,
on,
listen.
hold on. We-
The elephant in the room, look at the border, okay? Why is it, if the federal government is so concerned with COVID spreading in the United States of America, why is it that Americans have to go on lockdown? Why is it that Americans have to receive these mandatory jab mandates? But there are millions of people since Biden has taken office that have flooded over the United States southern border. Not a single vaccine mandate has been issued to these people that are not even Americans. You want to know what's pissing Americans off right now, whether left or right, is that there are people that are coming from different countries freely over the southern border without any jab mandates, but Americans are losing their lives. First responders,
That's right.
medical examiners, people that are professionals, people that have dedicated their lives, that are experts, that are now being put out on the street.
Well,
They're
guess what?
Americans, and that is what's bothering
Minnesota
people
governor,
right now.
the document just came out. I gotta say this.
I don't want to.
The document just came out. The Minnesota governor said
You have the
inflate
documents?
COVID numbers to keep
Okay.
the shutdown going.
This is what really annoys me about all this. Drew just made a massive political point.
Now let's make it.
And everybody keeps going back into the argument about we should all sit under the mandates but discuss the science, when no one here knows what the fuck they're talking about. What I do know is that 1 million plus people did cross the border with not a single mandate, but they are firing nurses. And then people argue natural
you're right. I
immunity,
think you're
and they
right.
argue big, and I'm like, I don't care about any of that. You are not going to mandate a public policy on the people and then ban people
I
over.
agree.
Yeah.
Drew, go ahead. The governor.
No, this is the
It's-
point.
For sure, it's a power move.
Yeah.
But
The
why
governor-
It is a
the
100%
governor
power move.
said, "I want a lockdown for power." He admits it's all a fraud. It's smoking gun.
No,
It's
listen.
smoking-
This is why I am so hell bent on talk to your doctor. We're not going to discuss.
Yeah, why is the Minnesota governor
No,
telling people to
stop
inflate
doing
COVID?
that, dude. You are driving us back into an argument that takes us away from the fact that they are mandating a medical procedure. I don't care if it's an x-ray. I don't care if it's a physical.
My
I don't
body,
care
my
if they want to
choice.
feel my toes. We shouldn't be sitting here going like, well, this scientist said this, and they were talking about numbers. No, 1 million people crossed the southern border with no mandate. Firefighters, police, nurses fired from their jobs, and all anyone keeps doing is keep saying, let's have a conversation about efficacy.
No, I agree, you're right.
Efficacy
I'm not
is
talking
irrelevant. You talk to your doctor, you figure out what makes sense for you, and I'll tell you this.
I don't think
your
anybody
mandates are
disagrees with you.
meaningless.
Yeah, it's two different arguments.
Yeah.
I agree with your argument.
Nobody disagrees
I'm
with you.
saying the
But I think
governor
most
of
people
Minnesota
don't know. Most people don't know
Exactly.
about the people. coming
Joe's
across
right.
the
No,
Tell 'em.
most people don't know.
Let's talk more about that.
Well,
I'm
Joe's
just saying
right.
The Minnesota governor admits the lockdown was for political control. He got caught in emails. Sorry.
Yeah. Well,
But
again,
how many people know that people are literally
Exactly.
not just being allowed across the border, but actually like allowed to enter into the country?
Yeah.
Yeah, we
Walking
got to do
over
that
it
to
and
fly on
not-
airplanes.
and not
We
being
got to have
tested.
tests.
But if
And
you're
they're
coming
giving them
even
ivermectin.
legally, if you're coming legally, you have to have the COVID vaccine now. And again, we understand this was never about your health. This was always about your subjugation. You look at what happened where they mandate this medical procedure, where they have the most strictest vaccine passports in England, in Israel, in Singapore. You see the highest rises in cases. Gibraltar, one of the most vaccinated places in the world per
Singapore.
capita, just canceled Christmas because they had a surge in COVID cases.
Vermont
They have
has the
they have-
highest
yeah,
cases in America, and it's the highest vax.
exactly.
All
It's
I'm-
all Bernie Sanders' fault. That's what I heard.
It is.
No, you know what?
He lives
They
in
want
Vermont.
to control. We've talked about this, Alex, right? They want a controllable class. They want a two-tier system. They want the elites at the top, and they want the people at the bottom that they could control, that are not going to say anything, that are not going to protest, that are not going to fuss about it, because they want people millions of people. They want people in this country that are illiterate to the United States Constitution, so that they don't
please.
protest or fuss about it.
Oh,
It's not left or right,
please.
Democrat or Republican. They just want people that they could control. And what's happening at the southern border is literally proving